And since Monica McNutt is here, it's time for another edition of Is That McNutts? Monica, let's start with the Warriors. They've had a successful offseason, if I said that. Is that McNutts?
So I'm gonna say this is not McNutts. And hear me out before you say they didn't go grab a big fish. I think they have to understand that they're now in a different category of team as far as being contenders. I love Kyle Anderson. I love Buddy Hield. I think they are terrific role players. They're going to be able to space the floor again. Anderson is very versatile. I don't think, I should say, that there was a big fish that would have put them over the proverbial hump. So all things considered, I think this is patient, this is measured, and this is okay. They're entering a new era.
Bobby, where would you rank Golden State's offseason thus far?
I would put them in the top 5 on July 5th as far as off seasons here. I really like the Kyle Anderson and D'Anthony Melton and certainly Buddy Hield, certainly 3 separate transactions there. But here's the but, as Monica said. Is this roster good enough to get from 46 wins last year and the 10th seed here? I still have questions about that.
Okay, let's go to where would you talk about LeBron and the Lakers, Monica? They're going to miss the playoffs with their current roster. Is that McNutts?
I don't think this is McNutts. And again, we're entering a new era with these teams, right? I don't think this is McNutts. I do think they find a way to get in, but when you look at it right now, you have to have a healthy respect for the rest of the Western Conference and what these young teams are doing. The teams at the top for most of the season last year were a lot of younger guys that are going after their idols and and the people that have inspired them to play basketball at a high level. And flat out, there are just other better rosters.
Bobby, you agree, disagree?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Monica. And I look at it this way. Be aware of 2 teams. Memphis, who missed the playoffs this past year with Ja Morant back healthy, and certainly Houston, that young Rocket team here. 2 teams that missed the playoffs that can certainly contend as far as at least in the top 10 here. So I think the Lakers missing the playoffs, I think that's certainly not a possibility, but I think it certainly could happen here.
Okay, Monica, last question. Mavericks should be the favorites to make the finals in the West. Is that McNutts?
I'm going to go with this one being McNutts just a smidge. I have a ton of respect for what they were able to accomplish. They retained that core. I think Klay Thompson is the perfect piece. I think Klay Thompson will be able to get back to himself before it's all said and done in a Mavs uniform. But again, we gotta respect what's happening in the Western Conference. And to me, as I look at this thing, Bobby mentioned 2 teams that you gotta consider that could really muck it up. But I also think OKC made the requisite moves that they needed this offseason, and you would be amiss to overlook them. And so I just think the field is gonna be tough in the Western Conference. And so I don't know about favorites. I don't know about favorites.
Bobby, your thoughts?
Well, I love what Oklahoma City did and certainly what Dallas has done, but I'm going to say that the West goes through Minnesota, and they bring back the starting 5. I love what they did in the draft with Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon. They still have Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander-Walker here, so for me, it's Minnesota.
Oh, how about that? Minnesota.
I like it. But again, we're talking about these young teams. So, and this is why, all things considered, I think the West is going to be as tough as it was this past season. I don't think that Denver's done. They've got some questions. Obviously, they lost some key pieces. But it's going to be really, really exciting. And we're witnessing the changing of the guard.
Monica, what is, in your opinion, favorite move free agency?
I think it's OKC for me. I can remember calling a game alongside Mark Jones early in the season, and Jonesy and I are going back and forth arguing about what OKC does or does not need to add. And I totally understand looking at this thing and being like, they're a veteran away, they're a big away. But again, to me, culture is so important. We've heard guys talk about fit, right? Fit/culture synonyms when it comes to basketball. The additions that they made in Caruso, a veteran that is respected, that is a star in his role player, Isaiah Hartenstein, an outstanding young man, again, a star in his role. To me, they fit the culture that is so important to what's happening in OKC.
Bobby just said he thinks it goes through Minnesota. Do you think it goes through Oklahoma City? Out west?
We got to do this already, y'all. It's July 5th. Look, man, it's got to go through one of them.
Which you think is one of them?
It might be Denver, too. I mean, here's the thing. If Dallas can put together, and Bobby, tell me if you agree, the way Dallas, post All-Star break this year, the way Dallas looked defensively, We got to see if that was a small sample size that allowed them to stand out in that regard, or if they can maintain that over the course of an actual season, and of course with the additions of Klay. If Dallas can hold that level of defense and that level of offense, we may very well all be eating our words in terms of it's going to go through Dallas.
Okay, Bobby, what about Oklahoma City? I mean, I know you just talked about how you like Minnesota. What about Oklahoma City, though?
Well, listen, they traded for Alex Caruso. They signed Isaiah Hartenstein. The only player they lost was Josh Giddey. And Brian, they're still sitting on these boatload of draft picks. It cost them nothing. They brought back Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe. Continuity matters in this league. When you have an all-NBA player in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a top 3 MVP candidate, I think certainly Oklahoma City, yep, we're going to put them right up there with the best teams in the Western Conference.
Oh, we got a lot to talk about, hoop, football, everything, because coming up, got some eye candy for you. How about home run robbery in Oakland? Kevin Pillar thinks he's got something, but watch J.J. Bleday looking like Spider-Man. Go get that thing. How about this catch there?
How about it?
I like that. Go over the wall, be a thief, snags it back. That's a nice catch there by the Angels and J.J. Bleday. Listen, it has been a busy week to start the NBA free agency, so let's hand out some off-season grades. Bobby, I'll start with you. What grade would you give the reigning champion, those Celtics?
Well, it's got to be an A. The Jason Tatum Supermax extension, the Derek White signing. They even brought the band back. Luke Cornett and Xavier Tillman. Keep an eye on a Sam Hauser possible extension. Brian, they don't even have to show up for school. They can just come at the end of the year and show up for finals here. So I give them an A.
Can I just go pass or fail? I loved those classes, pass or fail classes. Yeah, I gotta agree with Bobby. I mean, listen, the window is open, and we are going to dissect the opportunity, and should they be the favorites again. They're just really starting to hit their prime and their stride, and so keeping this core together, fantastic. Yeah, I gotta go with an A too.
Okay, you know this next team really well, Monica. What grade would you give the Knicks?
I got a B+ on this one. I really like the Mikal Bridges addition. I have some concerns about the 5 position. Obviously, Isaiah Hartenstein getting paid in Oklahoma City, and as he should, I'd like to see them reinforce that position. Now, here's the thing, though. Mitchell Robinson was terrific before that injury in the fall. He was terrific when he made his way back in the postseason. And Julius Randle, some kind of way, I think people are forgetting about him as an interior reinforcement, both scoring and defending.
Monica and I come from the same school of grading, so I am going to give them a B+ also. And I agree with her wholeheartedly. I think the biggest concern for me, certainly the Hartenstein loss, is the durability of Mitchell Robinson. As far as staying healthy throughout the season, we'll see if they can bring back Precious Achiuwa. They created some flexibility by reworking that Mikal Bridges trade, but B+ for me.
Okay, Bobby, what about the Sixers? They've certainly been aggressive. What grade would you give them?
It's an A-. I'm not giving them an A right now because there's still some work to do. Certainly Paul George and Tyrese Maxey and Kelly Oubre, 3 big signings here, but I'm interested to see what they do with their front court. They need some size here. Certainly need a starting power forward.
You know, you talk about Paul George, and certainly it's been hyped all week long.